when Zelensky was saying our boys, our girls are going to have to go fight and die in Ukraine.
I saw that.
What the world is that? My kids ain't going nowhere.
Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes NRA. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote.
God will reveal when it's time to be revealed. To see who they really are, I don't understand. But a lot of people can't. A lot of people is never gonna understand or realize when they seeing and being entertaining evilness. And sooner or later, whoever you're talking about, just like I had to wake up and see the evil for what they truly are, everybody else in their own God-given time is either gonna wake up to the carnage of the Democratic Party and the scales are gonna fall off. And if they don't, these are the people that God said, you cannot be unequally yoked with them. They're not even trying to find out the truth. So stop knocking your head. Dust off your shoulders. Keep moving to the next man. So Dave, bring Joe on. Because, hey, Joe. Now, what you want to talk about, because we've been talking about Zelensky since we got on the show today, and that beatdown that President Donald Trump and also J.D. Vance gave him. But then we're also talking about, we've been talking about a lot of stuff, so you can talk about what you want. What's going on, Joe?
Well, I'm probably seeing what you're seeing. Everybody's seeing it across the world. I just talked to a good friend of mine. She sits on the board of the American Shakespeare Theater with me, and but she's a Democrat, and she's not a crazy lefty, but she was swearing about Trump, and I stopped her. I did a different take. I said, Linda, what are you mad at him for? He fired all those people. Where are they going to get jobs? I says, who cares? We're out in the working class. We can get fired every day. We're not protected class people. The world is like that. We have 35, 36 trillion in deficit, and we've got to show our creditors that we can curb spending before we go bankrupt. And I think that's why the Supreme Court will rule on a lot of things that Trump is going to do, because we're trying to show creditors that we can't afford the bills, never mind the taxpayers, the people we owe interest to. And so, she went down further, but, what about what he's doing in Ukraine? I said, what? You want to keep sending money over there? Then she was upset about Elon. I said, what about Elon? Well, all the stuff he's finding is not real. I mean, there was an answer for everything, as you probably know, and you've heard across social media. But I never really had a personal conversation recently, and someone close to me who I cared about. And so I tried to not convince her, but lay out, some of the arguments about, yes, it's going to be painful, but this was the establishment doing this bureaucracy empire for the last 50 years plus.
And what she
and
saying?
Now we're here.
What did she even want to acknowledge that we didn't get into this boat? She didn't even want to acknowledge that.
No, they can't. They can't. Their heads are going to explode, and all they have left is, there's a obscene meme out there, and Trump is standing there saying, don't drink urine, and then the Democrats are drinking a glass of urine. So no matter what he says, how crazy it is, they'll do the opposite, because I told you on Friday, I just think they're demon possessed. There's no other answer to people that are wealthy, people that are, have businesses that can all of a sudden step into the realm of politics and look at these common sense initiatives and call them insane and crazy and evil. There's something wrong with them. Yet they take it to their daily life. Yep. They don't lose money because of their erroneous thinking in politics. All of a sudden they're okay in business. How did your logic and your reasoning switch from one package of I run my businesses and my empires of being a millionaire like this, and now I'm going to talk about Trump and what? I have a whole set of rules the way I rule my life. It's nuts.
Okay, then I got another question, because it didn't happen when you was on the show. I think I found the video when Zelensky was saying our boys, our girls are going to have to go fight and die in Ukraine.
I saw that.
What the world is that? My kids ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I just tweeted to him. Now, the guy who's running with him is Senator Murphy from Connecticut, my state. I actually ran against him in 2018 for U.S. Senate. But the state is so brainwashed that they just believe this guy. But he, Murphy's been going out there with Zelensky, but Zelensky's timeline today on X, the old Twitter, was insane. I said, first of all, I texted him hours ago, get off the coke and get off of X because you're making yourself look horrible. Just now, before I got on the show, I wrote, get off the coke, get off of LSD, get off of X, because he's now coming back after Trump hit him today, and he's saying, we want peace, we want peace, we want peace. But this morning, war, fight, money, bombs. And if you look at his timeline just from today, he's a psychopath.
Wait a minute.
He's a psychopath.
Then UK promised $2 billion loan and some of their military soldiers and equipment.
Yeah, well, I think Trump tomorrow night, we'd love to talk about the State of the Union tomorrow night, because I think he's got so many goodies he's been holding back, and he's very disciplined, more than people think. And the speechwriters are getting ready for probably the greatest State of the Union we're ever going to hear. And in it, he's most likely going to drop, political bombs on stuff that Pam Bondi, Kash Patel already, things they haven't put out. He's probably holding his cards ready to drop across the whole world.
Why not?
Information.
Why not? He's going to have prime time. I mean, is this the State of the Union address tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Can you imagine him dropping? Okay, let's just say the Epstein flight log. Let's say he dropped that, or any incriminating evidence of any of those lawmakers taking kickbacks from USAID.
And this is what. Yeah, I think Kash Patel has been very quiet. Now, the Mr. Dennehy, who runs the New York FBI, was just pushed out of office, a real radical lefty. So Pam Bondi has her hands full, and Trump is probably going to name names tomorrow, talking about the people that are holding our information and data hostage. And how the sabotage within government's going on. And we can't know, like anything else, who's who. So I think we're going to hear a lot of inside information that Trump hasn't put out before, because the world will be watching tomorrow. If they ever watched after Friday's Oval Office cage match, they're going to be watching Tuesday night, and I think tomorrow night. And I think he'll put a lot of it out. That still won't help the Democrats. Their hair will still be on fire. I live amongst them here in Connecticut, or outside my street here. They're all surrounded. I got a Trump flag on a house. 90% very wealthy Democrats. They walk by me and they just their skin flusters walking their pets in the morning. I see them getting in my Jaguar, and I'm like, wow.
Now you're not gonna skate over you saying that somebody from the Southern District of New York was let go today, especially after.
No, it was the New York, not the Southern District. It was the head of the FBI in New York.
Oh, that's even.
Dennehy. He's the one who's holding the goods, not giving them to the Southern District. He's got the Wiener laptop. He's got the Hunter laptop. He has all the files from New York and Epstein Island on all the videotapes, thousands of hours of God knows what secret cameras with 220 young women underage. How many men were they servicing or being forced to service? How big is the list? This thing will take the world down.
You don't think he shredded it or deleted it at all? Because that's stupid.
I don't. I think the hackers with Elon and his mother flew in the chopper to the White House last night and stayed over. And I think they're all getting ready for tomorrow night with the data and the evidence and things they're not going to show the world. And some of them may be, of course, they can't show you the videos. This is important. The videos that they have, all the private videos from Epstein at his New York apartment, as well as Epstein Island, and I think out in Arizona. The FBI has it all in New York. And the thing is that can't be loaded anywhere on an internet. You want to talk about voting machines can't be connected to the internet? These files cannot be uploaded because they could be hacked, and the horror of what these things show. So they have them on probably private servers that are truly disconnected from the internet, not like our voting machines. And that stuff is isolated. And I think the hackers from Elon's team, if they're not on it now, they will be on it to go in and write code to break. There's nothing you can delete. It's too big, and it's too damaging. And I just think there's many billionaires and millionaires and God knows who that are petrified. They've been petrified for years. And that's just, it's true.
Yeah.
You don't have 224 women and hundreds of masseuses and then no clients. Who were they doing that to over a short period of time? It wasn't that long. And so it's evil. And so that coupled with the stuff we see in the deep state that's not sexual with minors and everything, you have a cesspool, as you know,
Wow.
and it's a cesspool of sin.
Yes.
And this is why they need the transgender to go. They need that as cover to say, listen, we may have done this, but these people here, if you give everybody the right to do any evil thing, then they're clear from their conscience of what they did. That's what this has been about with transgender.
I called her Joan Rivers. Okay, Joan Rivers already told us we had our first transsexual in the White House. And then the next day, she well, I wouldn't say the next day. It was like the same week. She just happened to have plastic surgery or a small minor surgery and didn't wake back up. But okay, conspiracy alert, conspiracy alert. Okay, there you go.
Well, in politics, I've stayed away from a couple things. That's one of them, even though I'm clearly looking at the children and all the pictures. I see what everybody shows, and the true parents, potentially true parents of Obama's children, that couple, I won't mention the name, their doctor, and they just look like them. But that is so hard. Clint Eastwood said it one day. He said it back in 2012. One day the world's going to find out just what a fraud this was. But that's for another time. First, we need to see the JFK files. We need to see all this stuff. And Pam Bondi's got her hands full. If she doesn't put this out, she had to block MAGA people in the last 3 days. And people want to know. They don't need to see the videos of the horror, but they need to know the list of the people that were in there with the children, not the flight logs, who was in there, because that evidence was given and the grand juries have it. So what they're going to try to do to block her is say grand jury testimony can't be released. And in that grand jury testimony is Susie, whatever her name is, 12 years old, saying, I don't know, I won't mention the names, but Bill Clinton did this to me and Prince Edward did that to me. And so they'll keep that in a grand jury and say it can't be put out like that. It's testimony. The cases still haven't come to light, and they never will, like JFK files.
I truly believe Charles, and I think Charles have seen the videos, because when that started coming out and they sat Andrews down after Virginia Giuffre, when that stuff started coming out, and the Queen Elizabeth just made him just disappear, which he didn't. He just stayed in Buckingham Palace. When she passed away, Charles kicked him out to an obscure whatever house somewhere. And then they trying to get him out of that too.
Yeah. Well, look at Zelensky. He went to King Charles' home. He didn't go to Buckingham Palace. He went to his home out of somewhere in England, his actual home, on Sunday. And so the bottom line is the European nations are spoiled brats on our back, and we're the parents, and we come home and we're like, you know what? You've been trashing this place. You haven't been paying the bills. We're doing all that. It's like Europe is in college. It's like back to school, and we're the parents paying the bill for the last 50, 60 years. It's time for them to ante up. They can't in time. And I hit Murphy today on Twitter. I'm like, and he was like beating up Putin. I said, dude, have some respect. This guy, Putin, he could wipe off the United States and Europe off the face of the earth in 90 minutes. That's how he has more nukes than we do, over 6,000. And you're talking to a guy, not that Putin's going to react to it, but this is the kind of stuff you're doing to someone who could wipe you out, and you're pressing him. You're putting him in a corner.
All you got to do, one of the biggest hackers in the world is a Russian, is a Russian guy that literally gets to do whatever you want. It was some documentary that popped up. He's one of the biggest hackers in the world, living right in the open in Russia. If Putin really wanted to tear them up, he'd just get his hackers guys to get in there into all of these senators and Congress people and blow them out the water.
Well, Putin is very strategic. Listen, we do a lot of evil in the world. We do our color revolutions. We interfered with 2014 with Victoria Nuland and overthrew the legitimately elected government of Ukraine.
Yes.
We put biolabs there. Everybody knows that's on the right. They study the history of it all. And so Putin sees more things than we do. We have to look at our problems and what we're doing. And so we've had a CIA and a deep state that have had their own 100-year agenda We're looking at things 6 months in a year. These men plan out with think tanks for a century ahead of us. And this has all been laid out on a chessboard, piece after piece after piece. Yet the few people that run that chessboard are not known to even CIA operatives. That's how this game is played. The ones in the club know what they're doing. And you can see by the chess moves that something was moved somewhere. You may think, and this is what the problem of politics is, well, I don't know why they did that. We made an agreement in 1991 when we denuclearized Ukraine that we would not have mission creep of NATO. It was way back. It would never move one step east. And since then, there's been like 7 or 9 countries and another 2, Sweden and Finland, last year. So everything we said in 91 was a lie. And we've been climbing right up Putin's butt. And like that man said, so there was a great guy on the internet that said, what if Russia put warheads right in the Mexican Tijuana border or on Toronto facing the United States? How would we feel?
Right.
And that's the same thing. And because we're so powerful, and that gets lost on people, they have more nuclear weapons than we do. Now, maybe half of the Russian nukes don't work, but we don't need half of them to work. And I think Britain is really, getting back to your subject, Britain is really playing with fire. Because Putin would never drop a nuke so close on Kyiv. He loves Kyiv. That's the original capital of Russia. That's a holy land. That's why he hasn't taken it completely out. And so if he does anything, he'll drop a nuke on London. Never mind Hitler's V2 rockets, and that'll be it. This is how this thing escalates. The military machine wants World War III. The industrial complex of the military that JFK warned us about, they are not going to be satisfied until they blow up the world and destroy it. And people need to get that through their head. There are men in the world that push the buttons that can, if they can get it done and sell us on it and make us support nuclear weapons and blowing it up, they would. And that is what people don't understand, that they want to blow up the world. It's an evil that we can't comprehend. It's unthinkable. But we have to start thinking as the things that are unthinkable. And that's what the left is refusing to do. The only things they're thinking unthinkable are the ones that are common sense. 1 and 1 is 2. No, it's not. It's 3. You know, and it's just
many people survived just one nuclear warhead shot off around the world. Everybody with a radar and nuclear warhead is going to have their fingers on that button. So whoever shoots off one, you're finna create a chain reaction with everybody that has any nuclear capability to start shooting up their missiles and rockets too. So one wacko, one psychopath shooting off a nuclear weapon it's gonna be a chain reaction around the world for everyone that has one.
Well, Trump has his hands full because with Hessek and Tulsi and everyone, they're just taking command of this stuff. It's kind of like that, well, not even 41 days right now. And it takes time to take command of a bureaucracy to get inside. Everyone's playing hide and seek with information. So it takes months and months, maybe a year or 2 before they can really get deep. That's why they have to gut the jobs and cut people and indict and do a lot. But it's like cancer. They don't want to destroy the U.S. government because they're trying to cut the cancer out. And so there has to be more patience by the MAGA world, because there's a lot I'm seeing out there. Arrest everybody. They want blood. They want blood. It's like, you're not going to get blood. He'll do the right thing, but he's not going to weaponize the government like they did to him.
Right.
He will investigate, but little by little, as the evidence comes out, it'll come out slowly but surely, and things will be done. In the meantime, people can resign and quit and go look for another job. We've got to shrink government. And so my friend who said, all those thousands of people don't have a job, bleeding heart, I said, so what? Who cares? That corporate America does it every day. We're not making a sale. We got to downsize. U.S. government has to do it. It hasn't made a sale. It hasn't made a dollar and balanced its budget in decades.
No. And
so Trump is trying to get us to balance the budget, to get fiscally disciplined. Why? Because we owe a lot of money. You know, our interest on the debt is $1 trillion. Is bigger than the defense budget right now. And so where are we going from here? Elon said it, if we don't cut back and start optimizing, but this is looking at a 50-year habit and trying to get a junkie off if he lives, 50 years on crack or on LSD or heroin, and how you get him off. The deep state and the bureaucracy is a 50-year junkie, and they don't want to give it up.
Linda McMahon, what do you got to say about it? She is now the new Secretary of the Department of Education. So
Linda's from, I know Linda. I've met her many times here in Connecticut and all the campaigns when I ran for governor. She lives in Connecticut, in Greenwich, Connecticut, and She was the head of the Small Business Administration with Trump the first round. They're personal friends, and very smart woman. You know, she's never been given the credit because Vince McMahon. I mean, the whole thing of WWE sounds like you're crazy, but you know, you can't have brains. You can be rich, but you can have brains. But she has the moxie, the brains, the stamina, the life experience to do what's necessary. And they're going to roll out, his administration will roll out what they want to do at the Department of Education, and she will do it. He told her, run this thing as though you're going to put yourself out of a job, because you are. You know, you're the head of the Department of Education, which isn't going to exist in a year. She's an elderly woman. Okay, no problem. I'll do it. And she's tough. They can't hit her with anything. You know, she's tough. They don't even bother hitting her. Look on you Google her name or on Twitter. You're not going to see her ex. You're not going to see almost any hits against her, because it doesn't stick. And
now,
for some reason,
why you think they don't attack her, Miss Linda, but they attack Tulsi, they attack Pam Bundy, but not Miss Linda? Why do you think that is? Because of her background?
Well, they're waiting to see what right now the education cartel, that's the government unions that work in the teachers unions, the construction unions for school, you name it. This education budgets across this country. In Connecticut, we have 169 towns, 169 boards of education locally, the pensions, the steps, the tenure. It is a job security world. And I've always said this, because most of these teachers now within 4 years get a master's degree. And I've always said, and then they get a lot of pay because of a master's degree. And my line running for office is, would you need a master's degree to teach a first grader how to sing "Old MacDonald Had a Farm"?
Well, you know, they teaching first graders a little bit more. Why are they doing that? Why are they teaching our elementary schools that?
Well, because the mafia moved out of the auto industry and out of textile. It got pushed out in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and they crept over to the government complex of, I'm not talking about the individual people, but the police union, the fire union, the public works, teachers union, everything that has hourly dues that you pay dues, billions and billions of dollars per year in union dues that houses, say, the mafia. It's the Democrat Party. I call it the Goomba. I'm Italian. The Goomba skim, okay? They skim the billions and billions of dollars that come from teachers' unions, because you have to pay, most states that are not right to work, you have to pay into the union. Connecticut is not right to work. You've got to join the union here. So they've been able to skim, I hate to say it, and then they have people right here in Connecticut, New York, all over the blue states, and they take the days off for election and they work campaigns, or they don't get advancement and opportunities. And it's in its idea with union workers and all that. And so people take the day off, they get paid a vacation day or something to actually campaign on our dime. And they vote for their own pay raise. I'm sorry, it's not against education or a good teacher. It's about the cartel that runs this scheme. It's so big. It's cost, as Trump said, more to teach our students per year than any other country in the world. And we have the number 40th lowest grade. So this scam and cartel, as most cartels, are rigged, and they don't have to have outcomes. And we don't have outcomes. That's why kids can't read, because everyone's getting paid. They're not getting paid on merit. They're not getting paid on merit. And it's not to blame the teachers. It goes back to Linda, what she's going to do with the federal education, what they put out for programming, what you have to achieve, sports. We don't have the arts anymore. There's no Latin in school. The kids can't even read. They're not taught cursive. They don't know how to sign their name. I mean, this is, where are we going?
Wow. All of them to be writing X or a thumbprint for their identification.
Yeah, we're going back to the days when people couldn't read and write, and you put an X. I signed my X.
That's what they did to our forefathers: white people, black people, Hispanics, Indians, all of them. Then why dumb down our kids? And you want to say race to the top, no one left behind, and it seemed like all of them being left behind.
You're right. Everyone's left behind. And you know what? We're going through a revolution like we did in the 19th century with the cotton gin and all kinds of automation, mechanical, replacing human. And it's happened many times. We're probably in the fourth right now, industrial revolution. It's technological. And what Elon will do, and it's going to come up on our next cycle for elections, is this is why they're firing people. They're going to be able to write programs and automate with artificial intelligence, et cetera, to do a lot of the tasks as business does for our government. That means no union workers, no Goomba skim, no taking the money off the top from the unions to go right to the Democrat Party. But it's a natural coincidence that technology is here, but it's going to take away the labor. And the unions didn't learn in the 50s and 60s when they started overcharging. You couldn't afford to make a car. You couldn't make a movie in the 60s. Clint Eastwood had to go to Italy. They pushed everything offshore, and they never learned because they're pigs, they're parasites. Not the people, not the jobs, but they leech in and they embed themselves like a wart inside the movement, and they siphon the life force out, and they destroy everything they touch. And this is not about the unions are good, but we have federal labor laws. You don't need unions anymore.
No. But that's why they said it's hard to fire them. Once you're in the federal government or in a union, it's hard to fire them. That's why they just keep getting demoted and pushed over.
Trump will make a national security issue tomorrow night, most likely, on the economy. In other words, he did the border. It's national security. He's done the energy as a national security, and he's most likely going to do economic national security issue. We're about to go bankrupt, blah, 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 so that he can then have the latitude to fire and take the budgets the way he has to take them to save money, even if the Congress passed it a bunch of money to go somewhere. Supreme Court under national security, when all these cases reach there, they will rule he can do that under national security. It is a war. We're in a war right now, a financial war, and if we don't get our house in order, some people may not buy our bonds. And if we print any more money, we won't be able to buy eggs if we wanted to. So this is a national security issue: the border, energy, and the economy. And I should say the economy, money spending and lending, and the financial markets. They're all tied together.
So what you doing tomorrow after the State of the Union?
I'm going to have a beer. That is going to be a crazy show in the world. We're going to see things we never saw. Also, the Democrats are going to pull all kinds of stuff within the Congress. Hopefully, Mike Johnson is ready to make a move if they get unruly within the Capitol, because they're out of their mind. They need to keep their base. I think I mentioned this Friday. The Democrats need to keep their base intact. They're losing too many.
Yes.
You're seeing all over social media. I'm joining the unaffiliated. I'm going to be a libertarian. I'm done with them. It's embarrassing. All right. And so they're losing too much. Never mind what they lost to Trump. They're going to lose their own base. That's why Murphy's out there and he's hammering for donations. And listen, these people are evil. They're not even communists. They want to destroy the world, and they think they're helping it, you know?
Well, I'm going to let you, because we're at the end of the show. Close it. Wait.
Okay.
Wait. Tell everybody where to find you, where they can listen to you at. You're going to be on more often. Keep going.
You want to go on X, Twitter, and look at Joe Visconti, my name, at Joe Visconti. Check me out, follow me all day, message me. That's the best place. That's the front lines. I do a lot of websites and this and that, but the front line right now is on X. The activity, the news, the war is on X. Yes. And right now, get your thoughts out there. Don't lay down. Don't walk away. Get back in the fight. Rub salt in the wounds politically of the left right now with all their insanity, because if these people ever got up, rose their head up and had power, if they had it now and they had it in November, we would have been finished, and they want to finish us off.
Kathy said, insurrection tomorrow. Y'all stay tuned.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. All right, everybody. This is the end of the show. Guess what I'm about to do? I don't know. Go find something to eat.
Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes Klukin. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote.